Okay, great. So I'm with, very, very pleased to say I'm with Anna and Stephen today, some people who've, first-time buyers who've just purchased a property in West London in Holland Park. How are you today, guys?
Hello. Very good.
Very good. Thanks for joining me. Quite often I interview, let's say, property professionals, estate agents, but you've actually gone through the process of buying. I suppose that's probably the question. What made you? You've been renting in London for some time. What made you pluck up the courage and join the property market?
Well, rental prices were getting a bit dismal for us. I was renting for, I think, 3 years. Was it 3 years? And it felt like a bit sort of depressing every month.
So just wasting money.
Yeah. And then I think we both sort of felt like we were at a point where we sort of felt like we could commit to a house.
Yeah.
And we're getting married. And it sort of felt like maybe it was the grown-up thing to do.
Go up.
Yeah. So you bought the property before the marriage then?
Yeah. Exactly. We're really banking on it working out.
I haven't got the answer which one's the best way to go first. But
and the other thing was that, I mean, it's a bit kind of, you get sick of moving into different places and not being able to change things that you want to change and make things permanent. And
we had a horrible yellow hallway, which really depressed me, and not being able to do anything about it really was, just
having that, putting your personality onto a property.
You can't exactly. You can't put roots down and start to make a place your home.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, I mean, why Notting Hill? Why Holland Park? Why this area?
We both have family here. You came here first.
Yeah, when I first moved in August in 2014, I moved to this area because my sister was here.
Okay.
And so it was the area that I sort of felt like I'd have people, and then it sort of started feeling like home very quickly, and I couldn't really imagine being anywhere else. And you came to live with me soon.
Yeah, we both got to know the area quite well, and it's it's got so much going for it. So we just really liked it from the beginning. Yeah, and obviously having family close by. My sister now lives in the area as well. She moved here about 6 months ago. So,
I mean, did you know London quite well? Other areas, or it was literally?
This was more or less the first area we got to know.
I think we sort of had sort of patchy ideas about the rest of London, but this is where we knew the most.
The other thing is that we tried when we moved here from Oxford, we tried to cast the net slightly wider and look at renting properties, and we even went to Parsons Green, we went down to
Fulham area,
Brook Green, and then other areas as well. But it was just much more time consuming because you don't know where the nice parts of each area are, and you don't know where you want to be. Whereas in Notting Hill, we always knew where we were.
Yeah, we had landmarks. We could always sort of gravitate back to places that sort of we sort of felt comfortable.
Parks close by, etc.
And it's just really well. It's really well located. It's got really nice things around it. The parks are close. The transport's great. That sort of thing.
So, I mean, having gone through the buying experience, I mean, what are your thoughts on the UK? The property process in the UK.
We haven't bought property anywhere else, so it's our first experience of purchasing. And I guess I would say it was fairly sort of seamless. I think it was probably a lot to do with you, but
it worked well in the end.
Yeah, I think we were probably protected from a lot of the sort of.
It was confusing at points. I remember Matt had to explain what freehold and leasehold meant.
Yeah, certainly all of that those sort of those weird.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Okay, so you're kind of giving the game away a little bit there. So Anna and Stephen actually were clients of mine. So I've put in the contract that they had to come on radio and say nice things about me. I suppose obviously you've used a property finder, me. I suppose you haven't bought anything yourself to compare it with. But I mean, how did you find the process for using a property finder? I mean.
Well, I think it would have been much more difficult. It is our first time buying a house. We sort of felt like we were a bit at sea in the beginning.
We discussed whether we would go for it because remember in the beginning we said, well, can't we do this on our own?
Yeah.
And then we made a decision that it would be it's such a huge investment overall that we kind of felt that it would be really sensible to kind of spend a little bit more, a fraction more, and get someone who knows what they're doing to help us.
Yeah, and just be guided in a process that was quite sort of intimidating.
Yeah, I think the intimidation factor is huge because when you go into a place, the agent is there and they are very much on the side of the seller, and it's quite difficult to feel like you've got someone on your side, and you don't feel confident enough to be able to say, well, I don't think this place is worth what you say it is. Whereas if you have someone who's professional and knows that kind of stuff, then you can feel a bit more bolshy and able to say, based on our valuation, we think this is worth this, and then you've actually got something backing you up there rather than just. Otherwise, I think we probably would have just been bullied, or
certainly would have been more bullied.
And the other thing is it would have taken. I mean, it's a full time. It would have taken so long.
Initially I had some time to do it, but then we both had full-time jobs and we just couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do it.
So you were actually working, except when I was phoning you to come and do the one-off viewings, I kind of thought you were just sort of, no, I can't come. So you were actually busy at those points.
Busy. The other thing is that there's so much. The market is the impression I got was that the market was so varied, and there's no. Obviously, anyone just puts something on there for what they think it's worth, and we saw some places that were priced at a certain amount that were far worse than ones priced at a lesser amount, and vice versa. And so it's really good to have someone saying to you, I think this is worth this, and this is where it fits in. And you can kind of start to not take the agents so seriously and just kind of laugh them off a bit, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
And we certainly had, we had different ways of looking at property. Like I had these aesthetic needs, and Matt, you were very good about saying, well, this is actually the price, it makes sense, this is worth the price, and which is not something I would have really sort of felt comfortable having any idea about, sort of whether something was worth it, or the resale value and all that sort of thing. I looked at floors and spaces and didn't have an idea about whether it would be something that anyone else would want.
Yeah, because I guess the criteria at the beginning was that the idea is that you're going to be living in this house for 2-3 years and then maybe moving overseas, so it had to be an investment at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Which is quite a complicated place to be in.
But I think it's fairly common in London because people are often moving through, and if you don't necessarily buy in London forever, and it's quite good and particularly because London, the property market is so difficult to predict. It's quite nice to have someone to be able to say, well, I think this is probably going to hold its value over the next X.
Well, I'm not going to hold you to that. I said that at the time, yeah.
I'm not going to hold you to that. But, that was a good thing. And the other thing was we saw a lot of properties that we wouldn't otherwise have seen because they were kind of got like sneak previews into properties where we just got snuck in, and there was just just the agent saying you're not supposed to be here, but if you want to buy it, you can buy it, that kind of thing.
Well, the pre-market sort of properties.
Yeah, that was extremely useful actually, because often I think you can feel like you're at a bit of a clamour, and there's pressure to buy because the agents will tell you there are so many people interested and it's going to go quickly. But if you're there first, you can kind of see it without that pressure and make a proper decision on it.
Yeah, no, I'm obviously agreeing with you and liking what you say. I mean, obviously you've got the keys now. We're actually in the apartment that you've purchased
as we speak.
As we speak, yeah, and you've made it very homely. I mean, when I last saw it, it was completely empty. Is this living up to expectations? I mean, I suppose if you cast your mind back when we first met and you gave me your brief to say I was looking for X. I mean, it hasn't got the outside space, which I know we did look at some amazing communal gardens.
Yeah,
but I mean, how's this kind of fitted in with where you are now? Yeah,
it's always going to take us a while to sort of feel like it's home.
Yeah,
but I think it has started to feel like home quite quickly
in the last week, I think.
Yeah, I mean, upstairs we've just kind of shielded you.
Yeah, you haven't seen upstairs yet.
Upstairs is a bit of a building site. Well, not a building site, but boxes and not sort of settled at all. But we're getting there, and it's been really lovely. It's really nice making plans about what we want to do with it to make it ours.
Yeah,
that's really exciting.
That was one of the reasons why we wanted to get a place, is to make it our own space, and we've already started that process. So it's really nice to kind of picture what parts will look like.
Have you been up on the roof yet?
No.
I haven't braved the roof yet, but I've thought about it a few times. I don't know if that counts. I've looked in the place to get to the roof and kind of thought, well, I'm not wearing shoes, so maybe tomorrow, that kind of thing.
But that's so exciting. You're going to have the plans. Someone to draw up plans for it.
Yeah, someone's doing plans for a roof.
For the roof terrace, yeah. Fantastic.
And pretty confident we'll get the planning, and that would be amazing
brilliant.
In summer to have.
It's difficult to imagine being able to use a roof terrace at the moment. But
well, I just to paint a little picture, I went up there with a structural engineer, and your neighbours actually have a fantastic roof terrace. So it was definitely, I guess that'd be the cherry on the cake.
That would be amazing.
Once done. So there's no plans, not back on the market. You're quite happy. You're not running away.
No, we're not.
No, okay. No, that's great. I mean, if there's anything else to add, anyone who's out there about to start looking to buy property, I mean, any sort of tips? What would you do differently again if you were going to, buy number 2, let's say?
I don't think we would do it differently at all.
I would say that using Property Finder is very. Especially for us, it was just really important. I think we would have.
We probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, we would have sort of lost steam halfway through.
I think there was a time actually halfway through it was looking a bit edgy. I thought maybe we were going to be buying something.
Yeah.
Well, I think we were particularly difficult clients because we were constantly saying, we like it and we don't like it, and then we had to. I mean, we looked at.
You're not different than anyone else. I mean, obviously, it's an emotional decision for you. You're spending a lot of money.
But I mean, we looked at. I don't know how many properties we looked at.
It's emotional, and it's sort of, and it's tactical, and it's a lot, and it's really. I think you can get overwhelmed by those decisions, and especially first-time buyers. And I think having someone say this isn't mad, this does make sense, and on your side, and sort of negotiating with estate agents, which I found quite sort of. I mean, I would have found quite exhausting. I think that sort of changed the whole experience for us. Yeah. It made it a much sort of more streamlined and.
I would genuinely tell anyone to do it, because if you look at the cost of it, it really is a fraction of what you're going to be paying for the property, and it's money really well spent, because you just it gives you a lot of comfort and makes the process a lot easier, and most importantly, it just makes you feel confident about what you're doing, because like you were saying, you can second guess yourself constantly, and it's such a huge transaction that it's terrifying in a way.
I suppose with that, I mean, if we push a little bit further from the asking price, and we don't have to say any figures, I mean, quite happy what we got this for.
Yeah. I mean, and also in terms of that, like we offered under, and we probably wouldn't have had the guts to do that.
We would never have.
We would have been pushed into.
We would have said, "Oh, we'll offer this," and they would have said no, and then we would have just upped our offer. Whereas we actually ended up getting the property for quite a lot less than what they were asking, which is, and that's nice, because we've been able to then put some of that extra money into making changes. First of all, to the kitchen.
Brilliant. Yeah, no,
first on the list.
Looking forward to coming back once it's all
we'll have
all
to
done. But don't worry, I won't force you back on the next show.
We'll have to cook you some dinner.
No, brilliant. All right, well, thanks, Anna and Stephen. That's great. I really hope you have a lovely time in this beautiful house. And
thank you.
Definitely come back for that barbecue when you got the roof terrace done.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Great. Thanks so much.